Hey everybody, what's going on? Thank you for joining us today for another episode of the ICCN Podcast. I am Mr. Smith, and today we're just going to be talking about a little bit of everything. We may have some special guests arrive here later on in the podcast, but for now, we're just going to be doing our thing here, and we got a couple discussions or topics that we can talk about. First, I want to get into is there's a recent discussion had that I've had recently with fungus gnat problem. Well, throughout my grow journey, fungus gnats have always been kind of in the background there. They come and they go. Sometimes you do get an infestation, but throughout my journey, the best product that I've found available was this stuff called natural. Okay, that's GNATROL. And so what this stuff is, it's a biological larvicide used to control fungus gnats, their larvae specifically, in the soil. So you go ahead and mix this up with your water, and you can add it with your watering schedule, and that should take care of the larvae. And then you want to go ahead and put up some of those ribbon fly traps, the sticky ribbon fly traps that hang. Those work great to get the adults out of the air. So every time I've used the natural and put a sticky trap in there, within a week, everything is back to normal. So the thing about natural and why I chose it is because for what it does and compared to other things that you can get, it leaves zero chemical residue. So I feel like it's a little bit safer in certain areas for, you know, workers and even beneficial insects. Um, so it's also safe for, I mean, I have seen information about it being okay to use during flowering, but I'm not going to go that far. And like I said, it only targets the fungus gnat larvae. So it's not going to kill those guys that are up in the air. It could possibly lay their larvae somewhere else. So put those two in there and you should see immediate results. Um, and if anyone else has any other tricks up their sleeves, feel free to comment down below and share. That'd be great. But yeah, you the only thing about natural is it's kind of hard to find. So whenever I first came across it, it was being sold in sandwich bags at this one grow shop, and that was because you can only get this stuff in bulk. That's what the guy was saying. Um, but I have seen some stuff online uh, that's uh, that's like 20 bucks, 17 bucks, and you can get yourself a little bit. But yeah, so that's that. Let's see here. What else can we go into? Okay, so while we're on the fungus gnats, so how I try to prevent fungus gnats, you don't want the soil to be wet enough for so long that it starts developing that fungus that the fungus gnats like, obviously. So if you do notice like that green fungus growing on top of your soil, um, what I usually do is try my best to let it go through a dry period, instead of keeping it wet, let it dry, and just water it whenever it really needs it. Um, that's the best way. I know repotting, like, so a lot of times my seedlings will start to develop like fungus gnats, in the little pots that they're in. So I feel like it's kind of hard to prevent that because the at that stage the seedlings aren't really taking up enough water to keep the dirt from being too wet to grow that fungus that the gnats are wanting. So whenever you transplant those, that's whenever you should see those fungus gnats go away. And then whenever you get to your bigger pot, you can kind of watch your watering and kind of go from there. And actually, so what also helps me is I've grown in multiple different size pots. I've grown in many different types of size in many different types of pots. I've grown in fabric pots. I honestly didn't like the fabric pots as much as I like the plastic pots. I am brand specific because I like how the design of the Pro Cal plastic pots are. Um, they just seem like how they're designed, um, the transplanting, like uh, the root ball would just fall out of the pot without gripping onto anything. It's really, um, I don't know, I just really like these pots. But anyway, right now I'm in 1 gallon pots, okay? And I know that may seem small, but if you really think about it, this is how I'm kind of looking at it. You know, what would you consider the pot size for a hydroponic system being? Okay, it's really not about the pot size. It's about uh the root mass and like um from what I see at least, please, if anyone has anything to say, I would love to hear it because, I've never done hydroponics, but this is just my theory. So, in hydroponics, like as long as you're giving the plant what it needs, it doesn't really necessarily matter how big that root ball is, in my opinion. But I may be wrong. So with that taken into consideration, I'm like, okay, so I can use these 1 gallon pots. Um, And as long as I'm giving the plant what it needs, then I should get good results. And, you know, it does affect different things like as far as you just gotta look at the pros and cons. Like, okay, I'm gonna have smaller pots in there so I can have more plants. Okay, but those plants may grow a little bit slower. I'm just guessing because I haven't put a 5 gallon pot right next to a 1 gallon pot. But what I can say is I would suggest that the bigger pots are going to give you a bigger plant and all. But whenever I'm in a tent and I'm still kind of deciding in between what I want to do. Because these 1 gallon pots, what's also nice about them is it's very easy to tell when they need water. Okay, that's first. So they usually I water 16 ounces each pot. That's one water bottle. Okay. My watering can holds 32 ounces. So, um, and well, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm only putting eight ounces of water per pot. Okay, that's half a water bottle, and that's per day. And that's them being heavy. They love it, you know. I'll come back the next day and maybe have to wait a little bit for them to suck up the rest of the water. But having that small pot allows me to get a better understanding of where the plant is nutritionally and how it's absorbing the water out of the pot. So like, the weight of it is very easy to tell if it's light or not, since you're not having all that extra weight from a bigger pot. And the dirt in it is kind of harder to tell if those ones need water by lifting up the pot and seeing if it's, light enough to for it to need water. So that is one thing about the 1 gallon pots that's nice is whenever you get tuned into them, um, you can basically be like, okay, it's gonna take this much water, and I'm gonna be good, which I really like about that. Also, um, whenever I so I'm on bottle nutrients, okay, and uh, I like the 1 gallon pots because I feel like it helps me, like I was saying, gauge where the plant is nutritionally. So if I feed it and, the next day, maybe the leaves are curled up a little bit, okay, and it's showing signs of being burnt. It's not going to be nutrient burnt enough to where it's going to kill the plant, but you're going to see the sign, and then you're going to water it regular water, and then it's going to be fine, okay, because it doesn't have, it doesn't have a fat pot of highly salted nutritional water that it's trying to suck up, but it can't. So that's a really good point that I like to make in the small pots because I do feel like I can see where the plant is better on its deficiencies and all of that good stuff. Also, with me being in a tent, uh, and I do have in my veg tent a mother in I think it's like a 7.5, 10 gallon pot, and no, it's in a 5 gallon. It's in a 5 gallon pot, but that plant has because obviously we're limited to how far we can grow upwards, okay? And as soon as you put it in that pot, that's gonna raise that plant up like another 6 inches, um, just for being in that bigger pot. But now looking back on everything, it's really what works best for you at the time being because, you know, I started off with 5 gallon pots. They did great. I had great big yields. I grew out some 9 pound hammer, and I had, that was definitely one that, um, out of the several that I had to tie over, but that it was just crazy. And, I believe that um, you're not going to get a yield like I saw there out of a 1 gallon. I mean, unless you just vegged it very long. But I feel like because usually with plants, I mean, they are only as round as um their root zone. Okay, so if their root zone expands outwards, then usually that plant expands outwards with the root zone. So, and I'm still trying to decide whether or not how much that applies to cannabis because with these 1 gallon pots, I was able to fit four four plants not topped in a 2x2, and each one of those plants did really good. They yielded really good. They tasted very good. And now that we're talking about harvesting and you know uh kind of getting on that subject, I kind of want to go into curing processes because that was a challenge for me, and it was a very um, eye-opening, but I don't really want to use the words eye-opening. It was a learning curve that needed to happen in order for you to know how to come out with a smoke that you're looking for. So, like, well, what I mean by that is, whenever you first start growing, and I don't know if anyone else is like this, but whenever you first start growing and you first start harvesting, it's hard to get that chlorophyll taste out, that taste and smell. And, you know, I was looking at, how can I fix this? How do I get, this chlorophyll, hay smelling, grass smelling, tasting out? Okay. So started looking into stuff, and what's worked for me is okay. So I'll just go over my process. So what I do is after I am ready to harvest, I go ahead and cut down my plants I want to harvest, and I hang them up. But I pick a room in the house because different times of the year is different. But right now, it seems like my basement is the best spot. It sits around 55% uh humidity depending on the day. But you don't want your wherever you have your flower out, even if it is a super dry place, you know, Um, it's better for it to be in a super dry place, in my opinion, than a super damp place because then you risk getting mold and ruining your whole entire harvest, which no one wants. So if it dries out too fast, at least you can still smoke it. So, but anyway, you want to dry your flower from the time you harvest it and hang it to the time you put it in the jar to the time that you smoke it. You want to draw that moisture out from the center of the bud as slow as possible. That's going to save all of your flavors and everything like that you're looking for. So, we harvest. We hang the flower and we let it dry, all right? And while it's drying, some people will take like one of the will grab one of the branches and bend it, and if the branches snap, rather than bend, then that is a sign that I used to go off um to let me know if I need to go ahead and take the harvested plants down and trim them up, take them off the stem, and put them in jars. And if that's not the case, I will also look at, the bud itself and touch it. So if the outside of the flower is starting to get pretty crunchy, and dry, like really dry to where it's crunchy, that's whenever I go ahead and I'll take my nugs off of my plant and I'll go ahead and jar them. All right. So we got our flour in our jar, but it's still not fully done drying. Okay. This is called the curing stage. All right. So after we take after we take our flour off of the hanging stalk and put it in the jar, you're gonna leave the jar closed, for a day, you know, and come back the next day and see if those nugs are still crunchy. All right. And they may be a little bit or not, but we know that there's still quite a bit of moisture in the center of the bud. Okay. And that's what we're trying to draw out from the inside to the outer parts of the flower. So it's like we go into our jar the day after we put it in there, and let's say it's um not really crunchy anymore, but it's there, but we know that there's that moisture in the center. So we're gonna burp it, okay? You're gonna just leave the lid off of the jar for, you know, depending on your environment, um, couple hours, few hours, 1 hour, you know, but that way the flower in there can get some fresh air, it can breathe, it can dry a little bit more. Um, and we're slowly getting that moisture out of the center of the flower and drawing it out, you know, while with the jar being open because it's drying the outside of the flower. And um, whenever we burp it for a couple hours, let's say, and we close the jar back up, all right, you should be able to tell a difference. Um, Maybe not major, but a minor difference in, uh, from when you first open the jar to when you're about to close it. It may be a little bit crunchier on the outside, from it drying out during that burping stage. So whenever you put the lid back on, um, you're done burping for that day, whatever. You just keep on doing that repeated repetitive process until you're gonna find one day that the flower is dry enough in the center to where whenever you break it down, it's it's beautiful. You know, throughout your curing process, you can take a nug out and break it up, see what it's like. If it's too sticky, too whatever, it's got too much moisture in it, you know, just keep on burping it, closing it, keeping it in the jar. And trust me, it'll it'll eventually uh come out how you want it. Really, the biggest thing I would say to keep in the back of your head, to keep in mind is this whole entire process, um the the product comes out in my experience, it's always came out better the slower I've been able to dry out the flour. Um, and you want to find the balance to that because you don't want to keep it in a jar too long to where it starts molding or whatever. You don't want to dry it out too fast. You don't want to dry it out too slow. You don't want to dry out your cannabis too fast because you risk of losing your terpene profile. Um, that would be the biggest thing that I've ran into there. There are things like um, uh, uneven drying, which is uh, you know, obviously it kind of says it in its name. It's just not drying how it should be in all parts of the jar or whatever, and so it can mold in those parts. But anyway, we don't want to dry too fast. We don't want to dry too slow. You dry too fast, you have the potential of losing terpenes. You dry too slow, you have the potential of growing mold. That's basically the gist of that. So, on to the next topic. So I got another good topic that I want to hit on. So cloning. I did do some cloning here recently, and I have a good video. I feel like that would be beneficial to put up here on the channel. Whenever I get that ready and edited, I can put it up here and let you guys take a look at it. But um, uh, just want to briefly touch on it because I feel like that there's 100 different ways that people, you know, take to cloning, whether it's from a cloning tray or you use, like rock wool or that peat moss cubes. Essentially, I'm just gonna tell you guys what I do, and love to hear what other people do. But basically, I'll get my cuttings, and I have this rooting hormone powder from Walmart. that you can get. It's pretty cheap. It's like only like $3 for a nice size tub of it. And whenever I get my cuttings, I will literally just take after I trim up each one, take the end of it and go ahead and scrape that outer skin off, and then give it a nice dip into that powder, that rooting hormone. I'm very generous with it because you can never have too much, in my opinion, of that. And one thing I feel like I noticed was like because I just stab my clones right into the dirt. I don't have no rock wool wool cubes or peat moss like that. So I quite literally just have the same size little pots that I would sprout my seeds in, and I would just take the end that has a cleaning solution on it and stick it into the dirt, and I have a 90% success rate with that. So um I do want to brush up though. The cool thing about cloning is there is surprisingly um, a lot of different ways you can go about skinning that cat. I remember at one point I was using aloe vera as a rooting hormone, and that is, if you want to go completely all natural, or even if you have an aloe that needs trimmed around the house, that's what I would do for my wife's aloe is use the gel that would come out of the leaves and use that as a rooting hormone. It definitely works. I mean, I will also say I like to make like a little hole before I completely stab my dirt down or my cutting down in it because I feel like if I don't, I've noticed like while I'm stabbing uh the cutting into the dirt, it starts to rub off that rooting hormone um, from the bottom of the cut. So, um, yeah, I just like to make like a quarter inch hole and then stab it in there a little bit. And that should be great. You should have good results with that. You know, kind of also want to talk about personal experiences whenever it comes to dependable information. Because we all need reliable information to make us the best that we can be. So one book that I decided to get was it's called the Cannabis Grow Bible. It's by Greg Green, and I haven't really used any other book as a reference guide. This book has a lot of good stuff in it. My most popular page is the Nutrient Deficiency Guide, um, and it's really helped me out from the very beginning of my journey, especially the Nutrient Deficient Guide really helps me a lot actually. And it goes into a whole bunch of good stuff. Of course, all of your good growing knowledge, um, and uh, so from that to breeding, it may not be the the Bible for breeding specifically, but it does have some good information in there. The indoor growing environment, that's a good chapter. Has organic growing in here, so I definitely, the compost tea uh, page in here was one I used a lot. But yeah, this is a really good book. I mean, I've come to realize sometimes books are truly that thing that just has that raw, uh, true knowledge in there, that is just straight to the point, no bullshit. This is how you do it, you know? Um, there's just a lot of knowledge in books that I feel like is overlooked. So definitely um look into it if you want to expand uh your your knowledge and be well-rounded in this department. So that's a very good book. Okay, so preference in lighting. That's a another diverse conversation that you start having with other people because there's just so many options out there. And with things getting phased out and new tech coming out, things are always changing. But uh, me personally, you may have heard me talk about it briefly in the podcast before, but I do have an LED in my veg tent and a 315 watt CMH in my flower tent. And I do that because the LED is cheaper and does what I need it to do for my veg. And um, I like to flower under CMH. I just believe since it's closest to the sun's natural spectrum compared to other lights, that plays a role in the overall quality. I feel like that it may um, influence more oil and resin production. Um, and but I do gotta say, like I had the same exact cutting that I gave to my wife, and she flowered underneath a LED, and uh, it was great. It was great smoke. The density of the buds came out great. It wasn't all airy and loose. It was, a good harvest. So I would say the biggest factors that you're gonna be looking at is your budget, what goes with your budget, along with like whenever I say budget, I'm talking like, I look at the CMH light and I'm like, yeah, that light burns out and all I gotta do is replace it with another $60 light. I got $60 whenever. I don't got $600 for a whole
What's happening?
Oh, yo, what's up?
What's happening, bro? Like, I was actually a little confused, yo. Like, I thought like maybe the thing was gonna happen tomorrow. So I don't know. Like, I just saw the link and I was like, fuck, what the fuck? Oh shit, am I late? So thought I'd just jump in, say hi, what's up?
Hey, no, not late at all. You're the party, man. Party just arrived.
Uh-huh,
Man.
uh-huh.
Yeah, no, I
If
was
anything,
just
are we the only people here or?
yeah, I was just kind of rambling about different topics and yeah, glad to hear you. Man, I was all by my
Mm-hmm.
lonesome.
Yeah, that's great then. If anything, I got a topic. I thought I'd text it out in the group, but I'll just let you know. We don't need to discuss this right now. Let's wait for people to come in or whatever the fuck. We could do it right now, but one thing that was there at the back of my head that I wanted to get yours and I think Abe's opinion on is the whole CMH, HPS, and whatever thingy. Um, I have a very big question, but it's kind of like it needs some people thinking about it because I'm just like, yo, why are we using different lights like singularly for separate times of the growth of these plants when we can use them all together but like in different amounts? Because if the at the end of the day, the best spectrum out there is the spectrum provided by the sun, which is the most varied and it has everything we need. Why are we using just individual lights only by itself? Whereas I think we could be so much better off with having the entire spectrum at one go. I know
Yeah.
it's going to be a lot of a pain in the ass to run it all three or four lights at the same time, but I think it'll be way better for the plant. And if anything, there's like LED lights. Like I don't know if you know this brand, but Mammoth Lighting or some shit like that. They got a light that says that they've got like the best or the most variety or like close enough to the sun spectrum with their lights, and you can like have absolute control over those lights within that brand that exists. So that's one thing I wanna dig deep into that. That's my
Uh, yeah, I'm really
yeah
glad you brought that up because I thought about that since the last podcast, and I know there's a few things that came to mind. So like I know that you said a lot of people are using like everyone's using LEDs out there. Um,
yeah.
and
Yo,
that
if I
makes
say
sense.
everyone, it's also kind of ironic because there's not that many people here doing what we're doing. There
Okay.
are, but not that many compared to like where you guys are at, like where you guys can easily like there's hella people where you're at basically doing this shit, and the amount of people doing this over here, they exist, but so fucking tiny that you can basically say that like it's kind of a stretch, but I'm probably the only person from India that you'd probably ever get to speak or it will be comfortable speaking online and talking about it without the fear of like going to, jail.
Yeah, bro. And actually, since you kind of spoke on that, I really do appreciate you hopping on here and having these discussions. It's very, you know, I'm very
Appreciative.
on. Yes, there you go. Oh
Yeah.
man. But anyway, yeah, so it makes sense though why everyone's leaning towards the LEDs because if you think about it, out of all the other lights, they run at the coolest temperature, and it sounds like how you were saying before, it's hot as balls there anyway. Um,
Hmm.
so that, and with the power outages, I mean,
Hmm.
you can't really control what other people, what how much power other people are using, but I mean if they're turning off the power because people are using too much power, well then LEDs do use less. I mean, um, they're not as harsh on your residential, um,
Hmm.
electricity, but like I don't think you running, you know, a light that's not an LED would really
Be
break
beneficial.
the bank. Yeah. I, but I
Yeah.
mean, as far as like because I'm dealing with the heat. I have a hard time,
Hmm.
with keeping that under control from my own light, and I'm down in a basement where it's like, uh,
Can I ask out of curiosity whereabouts in the US you are, or you want to keep that private, or like is it like a red state or whatever, or
well,
just
I'm in the heartland, Midwest.
okay, okay, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Would
So,
it be the southern countries like Oklahoma, Texas, and stuff like that, or because I feel like that's where heat is, or am I just like stereotyping you?
no, are you saying like, is the Midwest or the heartland kind of like down south Texas, or is that where the heat
Uh,
is down south?
Yeah, no, no, that's where I expect where the heat is to be, but that's like me making that opinion based off what I've seen in movies and shit. Because Texas cowboys, Mexico heat, that kind of shit. Like
Yeah,
how a
bro.
person would say, think about it like Africa and think of like the savannah and no cities and the wilderness and crap like that. That's just me being so basic. But forgive me if I am, bro.
Oh no, no, bro. They got my ass too because we get armadillos that come up here. I forget why they come up here, but you'll see them on the side of the road, unfortunately ran over, but they're
Ah,
uh
nasty.
yeah, but like they come up here and you're like, "Man, there's like not a desert anywhere near." And because they're always portrayed as like a desert animal or something like that. And
Uh-huh.
here
Uh-huh.
we are and all the way up here and having them on the side of the roads and stuff. So yeah.
I mean, as long as you don't see them bushes, that you see in the Western movies that like cross the road or like get blown by the wind when you're living some wherever you are. Or you
Yeah.
see Clint Eastwood in the back, spinning a revolver or something. Yeah. So
Awesome,
wait,
bro.
so what were we on again? Like the whole lighting thing. So what? It's a little bit more annoying or like not worth it if you run multiple different like bulbs instead of LEDs, and
Yeah,
the heat.
honestly, I mean, I've never ran different individual bulbs, but I know like the LED is gonna have, you can get a full spectrum LED. That's what I have in
Mm-hmm,
my veg tent right now. Um,
mm-hmm.
and just rock and roll with that. That should,
So
um,
LED for veg, and then what's the other one for flower?
well, I do CMH for flower, but I mean, in your case, if I were you, I would just do
Mm.
LED all across the board since it's so
Yeah, no,
hot.
that's exactly what I was gonna ask. Like, if your LED is full spectrum, in my understanding, I feel like it would be a better thing for flower, because not because it's better than the CMH. I feel like the CMH is going to be better in that aspect, regardless. But I feel like if you want to, I wouldn't say better quality product, but I feel like a better quality expression from the plant itself, because you're getting the entire spectrum, which is what these plants get outdoors. If we're always trying to replicate nature and like, trying to do that to the best of our ability indoors, like trying to get a more overall wider and entire spectrum that's there with the sun. So,
Hmm.
the LED would be better for you in flower, or what's your take on that?
Um,
Or you just like always CMH all the way, balls deep all the way, because that's all you see the benefit from.
I'm CMH all the way because um, okay, so first, it's hard to convince me to
Mm-hmm.
go another like LED would be more beneficial in my case because of the heat and all that. But like I said before, the ceramic metal highlight spectrum is the most uh, is closest that you can get to the natural spectrum of the sun. So there's that. The bulb itself is giving off these spectrums from burning gas, just like the sun. And
Mm-hmm.
and whenever the bulb burns out, I can just go and
Mm.
buy another $60 bulb. I don't have to go and buy a
Okay.
$600 LED, you know. So
Wait,
that's
and
where it
also
really
just
gets me.
just just for clarification, because I'm a person who has no idea about these fucking bulbs and things. Yeah, so talk to me like I'm a fucking dumbass, bro. Okay, and like you can be as disrespectful as you want or whatever the fuck you think is appropriate. But talk to me like I'm a dumbass and tell me, these bulbs, the only thing you got to replace is the bulb, which is the cheap part of it. But then to like use the bulb, you still need some kind of like device that you slot the bulb into, and then you direct the light with like some kind of cover
Yes.
thing. Like I'm basing it off of what I've seen from other growers.
Yeah, so it's called a ballast. Okay, hold
Uh-huh.
on. Let me let me get this up on my screen real fast so I can kind of reference it the way I want to. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so I rock the brand Vivo Sun. I don't know if you've ever heard of them, and
Mm-hmm.
because
Vivosun makes these kind of like I want to say old school things, but I don't want to offend you or anyone else. But they actually make these. I'm quite
yeah,
surprised. I thought they were all like future forward and shit with the whole LED kind of thingy.
no, hold on, I'm about to look it up on Amazon right now. Because
Mm.
yeah, I've been rocking their CMHs for a while now, and the thing is it's hard to describe because okay, so the you got the
I mean, you
bulb.
don't. I kind of have an understanding. So even if you think it's hard, trust me, you're not talking to a person who is completely unaware about it. Like, go ahead, don't struggle,
Okay,
bro. If anything.
so you got your bulb, but you need a ballast. All right. The
Mm-hmm.
ballast um is what gives the bulb power
Directs the
and
light with those covers and shit. The
because you got
product.
the ballast and then the hood, but the hood
Mm.
um
Mm-hmm.
is obviously the reflective material that goes around um the bulb, but you can buy these individually. And whenever I buy my CMH, it's all put together. Basically, all I gotta do is screw in the bulb and
Mm-hmm.
from
Mm-hmm.
VivoSun.
Does it come with a power cord connected or a power cord that's like detachable from the entire device?
Yeah, no, it comes with a power cord that can detach from the device. You know, I can actually oh shit, hold on.
Hmm.
I can turn on my camera real fast and just show you.
Okay, okay, peace.
Yeah,
I mean, you don't have to, but I appreciate it nonetheless.
yeah, sorry, bro. Okay.
Alrighty. Yeah.
Uh, you see that?
Uh-huh.
So this is the ballast, and that's the power cord. But you see, like, hold up. All right, so
Yeah,
this
yeah.
is the ballast, and then that's the hood, and then your bulb is up in there,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
and that's just kind of the bottom of the light, what it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
But
So wait, even LEDs have a ballast from what I've understood, but it's only like the higher end, like more powerful ones that have a ballast. Because I think mine doesn't have no fucking ballast, bro. Like mine's like kind of like high powered or whatever, but it's
mhm,
not as high powered or professional as compared to like the top end that's provided by I think VivoSun. What is it? The other fucking company, VivoSun, AC Infinity, or like what's the other one? Spider Farmer and them sorts. These kind of what I would say old school lights. And there's
uh-huh,
also ballast for even the higher end newer LED lights, but most of those ones are just on the tier of like the best of the best from each brand. Like they have external or like a detachable ballast that can be either mounted on the LED
mm,
light or away from the LED light, which is, I feel like that's too much work, bro, from my end. Like I'm kind of good with the shitty LED light that I have. Like it gets the job done, but that's just me.
yeah, bro. No, I know what you're talking about because it's actually like with those detachable ballasts, I've seen it
When
in
they put it
grow
outside the thingy to
in
like
like
reduce the
grows.
heat.
Yeah. Because they put off a lot of heat, and whenever you have a lot of those, it's good. I mean, it is a good idea to kind of group them together in a room and separate it from your grow area, so it's not
Hmm.
fighting against it. But
Hmm.
but yeah.
Man, man, you know what though? Regardless of what I said earlier on, I gotta highlight this one thing that I've seen and observed. Okay, it's
Hmm.
uh, it's kind of like me. No, like I'm that kind of dude, bro. Like I might have a certain view, a point, or a perspective that's like rigid, and yeah, this is me, and this is what works for me, and that's it. But I'm not against like seeing other side of things and still accepting that as it's better or it's fact or it exists. Like I believe in duality of all things. Like I can believe in something and be against it, and that still doesn't break my understanding of the world at the end of the day. So
Hmm.
that being said, I have seen this one dude on like YouTube. You can probably look him up. His name is like if you type in Snipe SNYPE on YouTube. He's got a YouTube channel. Let me just clarify what his name is because I don't want to be saying some fuckery, bro, and then just people be calling me out for that. Yeah, so the guy's name is Snipe SNYPE, and
Hmm.
his at on Instagram. No, sorry, not Instagram. Sorry, YouTube is for fam by fam, and he's kind of got this annoying thing that he's like always addressing people. Yo, fam, what's happening, fam? Oh, fam, and it's kind of cringy sometimes or whatever the fuck. But regardless, the guy grows some fire. Okay, so I can't be anal about the way he speaks. And one thing that he highlights with the fact that he grows fire is due to the fact that he's got living soil and a recipe that's like catered to each different, not plant, each different variety. Like if he's growing hazes, it's a different living soil recipe. If he's growing um, something else, whatever the fuck, it's a different recipe based on how he understands those plants to absorb or take up and whatever utilize the food that they're given. So it's the living soil recipe curated to each specific type that he's growing. And the main thing that he loves is not topping the plants, growing them under 1 HPS light per plant, and in a room with a lot of airflow and maybe stakes for training, but no trellis net, nothing, and letting the plant grow out on its own with, like, even if it gets so heavy and dense, they never flop over because he's fed them appropriately and well that they're able to hold up such massive weight and buds. And the kind of buds I've seen this motherfucker grow, bro, I'm jealous. Like, I am so fucking jealous. And that too, it's the kind of buds like I don't know if this is something that's going to be controversial, but there are uh, home growers and like small time craft and batch growers that I've come across that grow quality dank nugs. But sometimes with the issue of growing organic, sometimes I've seen is that sometimes there's like out of 10 times, 1 or 2 times, the nugs will come out a little fluffy, not fluffy, but they look like they're dense, but they're not. You know, they're not that hard and rock hard and whatever, or
Yeah.
not that rigid. You know, there's a few times I've gotten some nugs and I just squish them and they just, they just go into themselves so easy. Whereas
Yeah.
sometimes I've pressed some nugs and they're so hard, like you can use them to like as projectiles to take someone out. So so most of the craft batch grows that I've met in the UK, small time ones. There's buds are smaller, but the quality is there, the terps are there, and the effect is powerful. Compare that with what I got from the illegal, large scale illegal commercial market, which is mainly run by Albanian and Turkish and Vietnamese drug gangs. And they do it very, very like in a very jank kind of way. Most of their setups are all HPS and CMH and the bulb sort of ends of the thing. But their nugs are big, large, and rock hard. Okay. Sometimes I get nugs so big, like usually I only see big buds in India. Like I've never seen huge buds in the western side of the spectrum of cannabis. But this black market bud, bro, like the street weed of the UK, like you can ask Blue, it's mainly haze and Stardog. Okay. And people think they're getting some kind of like indica sativa difference with those two different types. But in my understanding, I feel like both are still fucking strong sativas, bro. What do you mean by
Yeah.
fucking indica?
Yeah,
Yeah.
bro, that's really
Uh,
interesting how he's doing that depending on the different strain. I never thought about that. I know a buddy,
Yo,
I'm gonna be
just go have a look. Just go have a look at his videos, bro. Like, I can't find the exact fucking video, but he highlighted it there, and then it just clicked. Anytime I see cops busting a massive grow in the UK, which is illegal, yeah, like mainly run by these drug gangs, Albanians, the Turkish, and the Vietnamese mafia and organized crime. It's always HPS lights or always CMH or like mainly HPS. If I'm going to be honest, I think, and I'm not sure, but I'm mostly leaning towards it being HPS. But whenever I get the weed from these small time batch craft growers and not commercial. They're just very small scale, or it's just a group of people doing it for the love of the plant. They're mostly using LEDs, or I think they are, or maybe
yeah.
something else. But I don't think they're using HPS as much as the organized crime syndicate people. Do you get me? So I don't know if it's that or if it's the fucking soil and the nutrients or whatever. But I've seen a difference, and from what I've seen in that dude's videos, his notes are hard, dense, dank, probably terpy. I can't smell it through the fucking screen, but he's got fucking quality, bro, and that too, like I can tell that he's got quality because a lot of these organic living soil craft growers, they kind of got this like dickhead energy where they're like, yeah, I'm better than everyone else and I know it and I'm not ashamed to like be proud about it. And he's got that whole aura around him. So you know what? I believe him. I believe him even without smoking his shit.
Yeah, I actually am gonna
Why did I say something that's like kind of like true with the whole the aura thing that most of these guys have?
oh no, you made me laugh whenever you're like, I deleted him. Yeah. I don't know. It was just funny.
Uh,
Speaking of living soil, I got my brother-in-law, he is actually getting into that category of things and gonna talk to him
in terms
today.
of the how he's behaving.
Oh, no, in terms of doing living soil.
Okay, okay, my bad, bro. I don't want to be rude.
No, you're good, bro. Yeah,
Yeah.
um he just started back up growing and because I want to pick his brain about his experience with the living soil because this is his, first time going for it and it's working out for him and like to like to know what he knows and stuff. So,
Yo,
um,
if anything, I wish him blessings from my side and good luck and everything good that can happen, or if the universe aligns and all that crap. I wish him the best. You know, like I want people to do that. And if I see and hear more people doing it, it's fucking beautiful and amazing.
yeah, awesome, bro. I'll let him know that you said that for sure.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm um yeah, excited for that and he actually got this really cool tent that has um uh it has AI built into it.
Oh,
I'm not
yo, I have the same. I have the same.
really.
Not
How
gonna
is
lie.
that? How is that working for you?
Oh, fuck, bro. I'm gonna give you my 2 cents on it. But first, I wanna know, I wanna let you finish and I wanna know as much as I can on like what brand exactly and how he's running it and all that. Then I'll give you my input on that. So you go.
Well, I only saw it one time, and I think it's a Mars Hydro, but he was still in the process of setting it up. So, um,
Okay.
yeah, that's about as far
Okay.
as I got on it.
Okay, okay. So now you want to hear my side of things because it's going
Oh
to be a
yeah.
little bit of an interesting perspective. Okay. So I come from growing, I've been growing for 7 years, mostly outdoors. I've never attempted indoors, or even if I have, I mostly just sprout things indoors and that too without any lights. Like just put it indoors, sprout the seed indoors, because the humidity is so high outside that even doing it inside is pretty much the same, even better. And as soon as the seed is out of the soil and it's sprouted its first few leaves, I'll take it outside and leave it under the sun and let it grow. That's pretty much it. Now, 2 years back is when I started doing shit indoors. And before I did that, I made sure I did as much research and whatever I could and understand everything that I could to the best of my ability before I invest money and time and effort to get this shit running indoors. Because first, it's very expensive or very hard to get things as compared to how you guys can get it over there. So I'm like, if I'm going to spend this money and I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it well. Like if you're going to invest in technology, uh, rather pay the extra premium so that you can have something that works consistently without any issues for a long period of time instead of investing into something half-heartedly and half-assed and having to deal with it breaking down or not working or having subpar results. That's my ideology. I'm not forcing it on anybody, but that's just how I think when it comes to these things. So I got some money come back. I got some money that came in from when I worked in the UK, and it was my tax refund. And honestly, I was done with the UK. I was back in India. I was just like, yo, I need to get some shit rolling over here. And I was like, kind of strapped for money. I was like, fuck, what do I do? And then suddenly out of nowhere, like one of my friends calls me and it's like, oh, Noel, you got what is this? You got a mail from the, what is it? HMRC, which is like the income tax, whatever, people in the UK. And I was like, oh, fuck, they're asking me to pay taxes again, and I'm not even in the fucking country. I'm not doing that shit. Fuck that shit. Don't give me that letter. Keep it to yourself. But then I asked her, like, yo, just open the letter and see what it is. Because you know what? Fuck it. I'm not running away from my problems and issues right now. So she opened it up and she's like, it says you got a lot of money. I was like, really? Fucking show me. And she showed me the money and I was like, okay, that is a lot of money. Fuck, I paid a lot of extra tax that I'm supposed to get back. So I got that money, really thought hard about how to invest it. And I was like, okay, cool. So I'm going to do this. I wanted to get a setup and I wanted to get a setup that was either like kind of medium, not too big, not too small. So I thought I'd go for a 3x3. Could have gone, actually would have been better if I got a 2x2, but a little bit more powerful light because that would have been, I feel like that's a better choice. But I got a 3x3 and a 200-watt light. Um, the 3x3 and the 200-watt light are Indian brands. So that's just separate. The light is really good. The tent was kind of shite. And honestly, right now, I kind of got rid of it and threw it away because I'm like, that's the only piece of fucking equipment that I'm like, I'm never doing that again. I'd rather get something from America, like a like an AC Infinity or Vivo Sun or like, what is it, Spider Farmer, because those things would be way better than the kind of bullshit that this company is giving me. But the light was sweet, beautiful, it's getting the job done. I'm happy with it. Everything's good. So now I got the fucking tent, I got the fucking light. The only thing left was ventilation, HVAC, and what is it? Ventilation, HVAC, and I think that's it. And maybe a controller to run it all. So I thought I'd go the AC Infinity route, and I got what is it? The AC Infinity. Oh, this is actually a kind of cool part of the story. I thought I didn't get the AI controller because I ordered a normal controller. I got the AC Infinity. I ordered the AC Infinity 69 Pro or 69 controller with the intake fan or the exhaust fan, whatever, with a carbon filter and one oscillating fan. But when I received the kit, I open it up and it says AI controller. So I was like, wait, this is not what I ordered. But at the same time, like, I am so happy I got this because this is like a sign from the above or like a mistake or something good. Like, yo, fuck it, hell, this is
Hell
amazing.
yeah.
Yeah. And then I contacted the customer support of the people I ordered from because it wasn't directly from AC Infinity. It was through like something like Amazon and shit like that. So I talked to them and I just let them know, like, do you know, you sent me like something way more expensive than what I ordered? And what's up with that? And they're like, yeah, we don't know. This is what we are supposed to send you. That's it. We can't handle it. So then I did some digging, went on Reddit, talked to AC Infinity themselves, and they told me that it's a part of their promotional campaign or something. I don't know what the fuck it was, but it was something that they're doing intentionally where anyone who orders the Pro range of controllers or the 69 or 79 controller, which is not even Pro, would get the AI controller instead, and they wouldn't be aware of, like, they wouldn't know about it. It'd be mostly like a surprise or like an upgrade thing, like to get everyone shifted to the AI controller. So I was like,
Yeah.
okay, great. So that is a thing that's happening. I got it. And now after I got it is when I realized how much of a benefit it is. Because I don't know if you can automate or control the what is this? The oscillation, the fan speed of the oscillating fan, plus the what is this? The is it called an intake or exhaust? I
Um,
guess it
I
depends on
honestly
how you
call it
which.
I call it an inline fan, and I guess it just depends on how you set
Yeah,
it up. You can set it
yeah,
up
yeah,
to
no.
exhaust.
That's the word. That's the word. I'm just stupid right now. That's all.
I
So yeah,
get
the
that.
inline fan. Yeah, so the inline fan and like if I got the normal controller, I could probably set it up and control it from my phone, and it operate at those parameters that I'd set it at. But it wouldn't be learning and thinking like the AI controller was. So if it's too hot or too warm outside or too cold or the humidity is too high or low, it wouldn't know how to change the how the what is this? It wouldn't change the operation of the devices inside the tent or wherever you set it up to make optimize the temperature of whatever you're growing or the environment of whatever you're growing. And even if it couldn't do that, or even if it could, it wouldn't learn based on like your timings and the day and the weather outside and how many times you've run the grow and things like that. There wouldn't be any learning. Like it wouldn't be like, okay, every time this motherfucker opens the tent, the shit dips, so I'm gonna increase the speed of the fan or whatever. I don't
Yeah.
think it'll be doing that proactively. I think it'll be more reactive. Like it's only gonna do it when something happens, like a criteria has been set or met, and then it's going to react to it. Whereas the
Mm.
AI control is a little bit more proactive. It's going to do things even before those things happen, or even if that shit's not met. And it's a little bit more intelligent. Like, imagine if I had got, instead of this AI, whatever controller, I'd got everything like a little bit more analog, and then I got a set of timers with that things, and I don't have any control over the speed and shit of everything. So I'll have to manually go set the timers, and in case I fuck up, shit's gonna get fucked up. And if I need a little bit more control over the thing inside, I'd have to like be there in person and actually like increase the speed of the fan, reduce the speed of the fan, increase the light intensity, or decrease it, or maybe I don't know, do all these things that require a lot more effort on my end. Like human input will be needed in a greater degree. But this AI controller, bro, I want to kiss it. Like if it was a person, like I'd be like making out with it till my fucking lips fall off. You know, it is a fucking godsend. And yeah, bro. Like if anything, for this is what I'd see for the person coming into indoor growing. It's like gonna make it easy and take a lot of the headache off of the person when it comes to learning how to run these things. And
Okay.
it's mostly beneficial for people that actually know what they're doing and have conscious like direction and knowledge. Plus, they know what they want to do. But for the person who's kind of stupid and just wants to remain stupid but still wants to grow, it's not going to be beneficial because it's going to take all the effort off of the person. But the person's really not going to know how to fine tune it or learn it or do anything if that shit fails. Okay. But for the person who is on the part of like, I want to do this shit properly indoors and I'm going to give it my all, this shit's going to add to that, take the stress off of you, do all the work for you. But at the same time, you're going to also have to learn how to like tweak things here and there and make sure that this shit is like almost perfect. Like, how do I put this? Like sometimes my inline fan is completely off. Like it's out of like on a level of 0 to 10. If the outside temperature is literally perfect for like vegging specifically, sometimes it wouldn't even take air in. It'll just keep the air that's already inside like just constant, almost stagnant. Okay, which is not
Hmm.
good for like flowering because mold and crap like that. But if you're vegging, amazing. It's not really running the thing, and you're saving on electricity, which I feel like is a good thing because instead of having to like run these inline fans and oscillating fans 24/7, if the shit's not running and it's on zero and your temperature and environment and everything's maintained indoors, that is like a huge benefit, bro. I feel like you're not using much electricity other than just the controller monitoring shit and maybe just the light. That's pretty much it. Like literally, that's pretty much it. Yeah.
Awesome. I'm
And
glad we're talking about this and I can get an insight from your point of view with it
uh,
because um
are you curious about it? Because you
yeah,
want to have
I
a
am
go at it.
curious about it. The only thing like the first thing that pops up in my head is like setting it up. All right.
Oh no,
Like
bro, it's a breeze. Plug and play, bro. That's pretty much it.
and
Plug
then it
and
just
play.
starts
Like,
learning all by itself and all that.
yeah, yeah, bro. Like setting it up, I really thought it was that hard, but it's like, how children can learn how to use apps, and then there's like old people that struggle with it. That's
Yeah.
literally what it is. It's literally like an app that could be used by a child. That's how easy it is. And I'm not trying to like downplay or make you look whatever, like you can't do it or you're stupid, but I feel like a lot of people are apprehensive about technology, especially AI, because they feel like it's a little very complex or very whatever. But to be honest, once you get started with it, it's kind of like a breeze. And like, if anything, It's I'm kind of like very anti-AI, like in some things, like very anti-AI because I'm an artist and designer, and I get
Hmm.
so annoyed when I see art, design, movies, ads, fucking photos, and everything entirely done with AI because I feel like it has no soul and it
Yeah.
has no, it's not effective. Whereas marketing, advertising, even movies, anything like especially marketing and advertising will be so much more effective if you know that the shit that you're looking at was created with thought and intent by a fucking human being that put a little bit of his time, effort, and soul into it. Whereas AI doing like art and everything for you is kind of like it's fucking disgusting, bro. Like I just want to puke and die. I don't want to even go into details about it. It's just horrible. And if anything, my ideology is AI is here to stay. Stop bitching about it like everyone who is. And if it is here to stay, use it to assist you in doing what you're doing to a better degree in terms of increasing quality, efficiency, and speed. But depending entirely on AI to do every fucking single thing and having no human input in it is kind of not the way to go about it. And
Yeah.
that's why I
There's
feel like this control is fucking amazing. Because even if it can do everything for me, there's still sometimes I need to step in and be like, okay, something's happening. I need to like do some shit so things go back to like consistency and stability. You get
Yeah,
me?
it sounds like there's definitely like a balance or something that you gotta have so you're not,
Hmm. So you don't fuck shit up, basically.
yeah, basically. So you're
and
not
and
becoming
also
too
like
dependent on it, and you're still learning stuff, you know.
Mm. And
Yeah.
also, like, if anything, long story short, for the
Or all right.
we we just got sent to detention because we were just lost in the sauce of things.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah. So basically, to sum everything up and give you a very very important perspective on the whole AI thing when it comes to growing, especially when it comes to controlling the whole setup, this is what I would say. For a person like me who always like was very anti indoors and all about like sunlight, living soil, outdoors, and all that crap and terroir and taste and bullshit, which I still believe in, but now that I've come indoors, I've realized a few things. For people like me who maybe felt like it was too much money or it was too complex, or it's going to be hard to learn everything, and it's too much and too hard to understand it all and get it all set up and running. And maybe I won't be there all the time to control everything or even know what to control or how to control it. It just makes it a lot easier. Like it just streamlines the whole process and everything. So you just feel like I'm not like having to struggle from the get-go. I just need to set it up and let it go, and I learn along the way. That's the least I could put it to.
That's great, bro. I'm glad that you're
Yeah.
getting good results with it and it's working for you because now that we've talked about that, I definitely have a different insight on it and that definitely doesn't feel as
Bad as you
um
thought it was?
yeah, I feel like that's definitely
Mhm.
something I could look into. I mean, I've had my tints though. Shit. Um
I mean,
uh,
I want to ask you, like, how you do you have something that's like showing you the temperature and humidity and maybe VPD inside the tent?
yeah, so I if you go on Amazon and look up I think it's
Pulse
no
or Inkbird?
hygrometers.
Okay, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I
If you
got it.
look up hygrometers, there's a six pack of mini hygrometers that tell you the temperature and the humidity. The six pack's
Mm-hmm.
like $8, and
Mm.
um, I'll throw one of those in my tents, and then throw
Outside
one
the
like
tent, then inside your room or around the house.
yeah,
So, yeah,
and
yeah, I
they're
know.
they're they're, they're even small enough that sometimes I'll throw them in a jar like while I'm curing.
Mm,
Um,
mm-hmm,
but yeah, and then I got like my veg tent. So I made my own humidifier and
mm-hmm.
I got that connected to an Inkbird controller, um,
Mm-hmm.
which just, regulates the humidity and then the temperature, um, just kind of gets regulated uh, by
So I
ventilation
wanna
and
I,
shit.
I wanna ask so when it comes to reading all that info, do you have to go physically look at it, the one inside the tent mainly to get an understanding, or are you looking at can you easily tell what's happening inside the tent by looking at the hygrometer that's outside or in your room somewhere else in the house? Or like how's that go down?
Yeah, so the Inkbird displays the humidity in it outside my tent, and I'll just look at that, and
Hmm.
it sits between 60 and 70. I got it set to 71. It'll reach to 71 kickoff, and then it'll
Mm-hmm.
slowly drop down to 60, and then just repeat that process as the day goes
Hmm.
on. Um,
Hmm.
and so but if I want to look and see like the temperature, it's just on that hygrometer I have hanging above my canopy inside my tent.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
but with how everything's operating, I've kind of got a good groove of everything. The most recent thing I actually had to change was I have to keep my door. I don't have an inline fan. All right, so
Okay, okay.
I have um a nice
You keep
little
the door
mini.
open so
Yeah,
the air just okay, okay.
yeah. I think
And you're
I
saying
think it
mini?
was in I think it was too much oxygen in there, not enough CO2, because as soon as I opened up the door for like, and then the
Hmm.
next day I could see them bouncing back. I couldn't figure it out for a second, but they're looking a lot better
Hmm.
now. But
Okay.
yeah,
Are
I
you in the
mean, really,
basement?
it's just all about feel. Like whenever with my setup,
Hmm. Are you in the basement though?
yeah.
Okay, bro, that's gonna be a little tough because I feel like air would go in, but I don't know, like if it was like if I was like I got my shit running in a room that's like on the second floor of the house. And sometimes early on, like actually when I first set my thing up, I didn't have an inline fan too. So how I got that sorted is it's in my room. I just probably leave both doors open in my room because I got one door outside to the balcony and one door to somewhere else in my room, and there'll be like a flow wind coming from outside to the inside. And then if I feel like the plants need a little bit more air or whatever, I have a fan inside the room and I got AC. So I turn either both or one of them on, depending on like I'm looking at the plants and I'm like, yeah, they look like they need more air. So I put the fan on at full speed or whatever. But yeah, that's hard work, bro. I'm not gonna lie. Without the inclined fan, bro, I
Well, I
would be
mean,
struggling, especially.
it's not as bad as you think, because like with my basement, so I'm not routing heat out because I'm not fighting temperature, so that's not really,
It's
something
cold.
that,
It's cold as fuck.
yeah. And then the
Okay.
humidity, if anything, it's I sit around 55% in my basement. So
Oh,
if
that's sweet.
anything, yeah. So like that fan in there, I got it circulating, um, uh, pushing air up, and kind of just circulating around. And it seems to be loving it. I mean, because
You
like,
know what? To be honest, even without the inline fan, I'm not gonna lie, I was getting by without it, like no problems. Like once I thought like, why the fuck do I need an inline fan? Like it really doesn't make no sense. Like
yeah,
these things are fine. Like that's just fucking. It's just consumerism or some bullshit. Like it's a
yeah.
scam. Fuck the inline
Speaking of
fans. So
Yeah, speaking of like things like that, like the carbon filter, bro. I've never had anything stinky enough to actually need a carbon filter. I mean, I guess like you
yeah,
can,
I
I guess,
agree. I agree.
yeah, like I don't know. I guess you
Especially
can
blues.
use,
Like I'm not even kissing ass. Blues genetics, they need like not just one, maybe two or three, maybe fucking deck out the entire room with fucking carbon filters if
oh
you're
yeah,
really
bro.
going balls out on it. Yeah.
That's
But
what I mean. Yeah, that's what I want. I want that
oh wait,
dank.
are you able to like flower the plants out, especially blue stuff? without any inconvenience in terms of smell. Because I feel like it's in the basement. Maybe the smell will come up out into the house, but I don't think would it. Is there a chance that it will go out onto the street and cause you issues or whatever?
I mean, um, I really, really, with how the laws are, bro, I can smoke out on my front porch. I really,
Okay, it's
yeah,
it's peace.
and yeah, it's pretty peaceful. I mean, as long as you're just like, being respectful to those that don't smoke. Like if you're in a crowd and
If you're a dickhead, basically.
yeah, but
Yeah.
I'm really cool with my neighbors. I mow my neighbor's yard and
Hmm.
I'm sure she's smelled me smoking on my front porch, but
You're not
as far
surrounded by snitches.
and what?
You're not surrounded by snitches, basically,
Yeah,
and good
yeah,
people.
no. I mean, I would be I don't want anyone knowing like, I got anything going on outside. Those are kind of like
Hmm.
experiments too, but like because I never grown outdoors. This would be my first little run and
Hmm.
um like I I wouldn't be really concerned like
If
of
there
the
was shit
law. I would
flowering indoors,
I'm sorry.
you wouldn't be concerned with the law, or wait,
No,
continue. I interrupted you.
no, yeah, you're good. I wouldn't be concerned as much as with the law outside with what I got going on as much as I would be with just people knowing. I don't like people knowing my business.
You know what? I
So,
feel like is it kind of like similar to like how things are in California? Because I feel like some people in California, when they grow outdoors or indoors, but mostly outdoors, they're just worried about people coming over and stealing their plants or giving people incentive to like come over and rob them for the fucking weed that they have. Or
yeah.
like I don't know, in some parts of California, some of my friends say some shit like, yeah, where I am, like it might be legal, but the people are not that tolerant. So if there's smells going about, they're gonna complain and be bitchy about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I can
So
see that. And like yeah, the whole criminal aspect of it is probably like I don't know, I feel like that they would be that plants would be targeted, especially outside and stuff. And um uh
plant count,
I'm sorry.
plant count, like the number of plants that you
Oh,
got.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
and even at that, bro, um okay, so whenever we first went medicinal and people could start growing, um
Hmm.
they said that and I had my cultivation license and everything, so I went through the process and had to click the box that said yes, I would allow um people basically to come in if they came over to my house to check in on shit. um
Hmm. And you
so
mean
you
like the authority side of things?
huh
Or are you talking about like the people coming in? Are you talking about like the authorities or some shit like that? Or are you talking about
yeah,
just in
yeah,
general? Okay, okay.
yeah. um so but out of all my years, I've never heard of anyone getting like
Check.
inspected or anything like
Uh,
that, or like
okay, okay. But
um
honestly, bro, I feel like it's a very dumb fucking law. Like, why are they counting the amount of plants, bro? Like, it's a fucking plot. Like, oh my God,
yeah,
God.
it reminds me of like poppy stories of old women growing poppies in their gardens and then just like CIA agents or whatever government agents going and stomping their flowers out because growing risk of opium and stuff. I don't know. It's just a whole thing, and but
Yeah, no, I
but
get it. I get it. I get it. Even if it's stupid, I get why they want to do it, but it comes from a place of them not having any understanding of how to actually uh, go about when it comes to the legislative process and rules and regulations regarding this plan. I feel like it's
yeah,
just coming from a place of fear and stupidity.
it,
I don't want to sound rude, but fear and stupidity.
yeah, and I mean to kind of get this perspective of it, I did ask a cop like
Hmm.
I asked him, I'm like, hey, so like how do you guys feel really about whenever it comes down to weed and stuff? And he all he said, he's like, well, it's legal, ain't it? I'm like, yeah. He's like, yeah, we really, I mean, I'm like, okay. And they don't even, the thing is they're not even, um,
Bothered.
no, they're not familiar with the laws in place for them to even know if you're legal.
Or
You're,
not. Okay.
they probably don't even know about the plant count. They're not, you know, long story short, I just feel like that they don't really give a shit unless someone calls.
Okay. 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 You know what?
Yeah.
Okay, they don't give a shit. I thought it was because they were not educated on the actual laws or not aware about it. But you know what you said is way better than what I've known and experienced in the UK, which is a little bit different. When
Yeah.
it comes to India, I'm not going to get into it because I just feel like it's just this pre-prohibition, I mean, height of prohibition kind of bullshit that people experience in your ends of the world. That's literally what's happening here. Like India's literally in the 60s of what America went through during that time. Okay, some idiots would uh, think of police and politicians would think of cannabis as bad as like heroin and opium or fucking fentanyl, but they have no fucking idea. And even if they do, which they all do, because everyone smokes weed in India. Everyone. Like, there's not a person.